Fran, welcome to Behind the Chain podcast.
Thanks for having me.
I think we just about got there, didn't we, with realising you've come across not up or down.
Yeah, we think so. Jury's still out a little bit on it, though.
Yeah.
We're not sure. I mean, I know I'm not Northern.
Yeah.
I've tried to claim it a few times, but it's not.
No, I don't think you get away with it with the accent, to be honest. But then you did a bit of shopping this morning.
Yes.
Before.
Yeah, too much. But we've got nothing in my hometown, so I've been loving the city life and spending too much. I need to get out of here, basically.
Yeah. No, here, go on. What did you buy?
I bought the entire Uniglow shop.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Everything.
There we go.
Everything and everything, yeah. Great.
Happy days. Well, I think before we get into it, it'd be good to know sort of when did you realise you were going to be, let's say, a business leader, and where were you at in life?
So I was actually at uni. I, to be honest, never grew up really thinking I'm going to own a business. So at school, I didn't even take business, didn't do anything to do with it. And then I did criminology at uni. So I had basically wanted to go into the police since I was 11 years old. Always been super nosy, basically. And just grew up watching crime shows. And I was like, this is the path I'm going down. I was so focused on it. And then got to uni, and in second year I got sent home for COVID. So COVID uni student, the whole uni experience was rubbish. Got sent home, told not to come back. So when I was sat at home, I actually started working with a friend who was doing a bit of social media marketing. Yeah. And I just loved the freedom. But I did find it a bit frustrating that they weren't taking my ideas. And that's when I just thought I would love to kind of have my own creative input and have my own thing. Yeah. And then kind of coupled with, I've always been quite like a hard worker, but no matter the job. So I've always, I guess, like had quite a sense of like pride in the work. Like I've always wanted to do a good job. Yeah. And I worked in hospitality since I was 16, pretty much full time alongside school and uni. And I just got treated rubbish by managers, like taken for granted and things like that. Like just so much overtime unpaid and things. And I just didn't want to be treated like that again. Like if I'm going to...
What kind of jobs were they?
It was just hospitality, so bar stuff. I was duty manager at a wedding venue. Right. And you always think at the time, like, you know, you're really appreciated. And so I just poured everything into it, and I was just covering everyone's shifts. I was just working so hard. I mean, I was working from kind of 9 a.m. till 2 a.m. like a lot of the times. It was, and yeah, you don't realise everyone is kind of, they have their own business at heart. And so I didn't want to be in that position again. So this was all kind of happening over COVID that I realised. I then got put on furlough, wasn't it? Yeah. I can remember the name. And I basically just started kind of having ideas that it'd be really great to do my own thing. Mm-hmm. But again, a lot of it was naivety. So like I was a 20-year-old girl. Like I didn't know how much money it took. I didn't know how hard it would be. But I think sometimes that is a good thing. Like it's definitely, you know, a lot of people, when they get a mortgage, they get sensible. They start overthinking everything in their head, whereas there was none of that with me because I was so young. So I basically, and then like kind of coupled with that, there was a lot coming out about the police and the culture and things like that. And I just thought, this isn't for me. I don't really have that like toughness about me in terms of like the public and things. So I just kind of shelved that. I did graduate, but I wasn't really focused on it. But with it being COVID, you could just kind of absolutely wing it through. So it was all kind of a good time. And I think doing it young was like the best thing that ever happened to me. For sure, just jumping in 2 feet first.
Got ya.
Yeah.
And when you say everyone's got their own business, you know, what did you mean by that? If you was...
So in terms of kind of managers, I think a lot of the times you can get toxic cultures, which is very much what we had at my last job. Mm-hmm. And despite a super high staff turnover and, you know, multiple reports against certain people, it was just that person was good at their job. And that's all the employer saw. And I think that happens way too much in business. There was the words mentioned to me were they're too expensive to replace. And, you know, I get it in some respects. I think it's like a generation thing. I think my generation are a lot more aware of like toxic cultures. So yeah, it's definitely been a good change in recent years, maybe since COVID, because people have had that flexibility to move jobs a bit more.
And then you said you had some other ideas and you were just, you know, floating ideas. Was there any ideas that are now in the graveyard that you think, oh, actually that could have been interesting, or?
I did, when I was doing the social media marketing, I did think I would love to own my own agency.
Yeah.
But I was never that great at it myself. I wasn't like really great at the social media. So it would be more of I land the clients and then delegate the work out. So I did give that a go, did a bit of influencer marketing. Yeah. But to be honest, my heart just wasn't in it as much. Yeah. And I do think service it's super competitive, but logistics wise is a bit easier to run. But yeah, when your heart's not in it, like there's no point. And I did a few freelance work, but I just wrapped it up because it just wasn't for me.
And what did your parents make of you going down this slightly more entrepreneurial route? Were they, did they approve of it, or were they like, go get into the work?
Yeah, so my parents actually owned a business, so they loved it. They lapped it up. And also when I was doing the social media, they did not understand. Like my parents are slightly older, they're mid-60s, so they were like, what is Instagram? Like we don't get it. We don't get what an influencer is. So when their friends were like, well, what's your daughter doing for a living? They're a bit like we don't know, like not a lot. Whereas this, like it's like actual product. They are so supportive, like crazy. They do it, like they give it all to all their friends. They're telling everyone about it. My dad goes and makes some deliveries for me, bless him. Like he turns up at my customer's house and like chats to them, and yeah, they're like the best. They're great with it. So.
Amazing. Yeah, sounds like you got some free staff or volunteers.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I've got. Yeah, it's brilliant. Like the summers are spent in the warehouse. So yeah.
That is lovely. That is lovely. Well, probably a good time then to introduce. So could you just give everyone an insight to, who Riviera are, what they're doing, and a little bit about the product? Yeah,
so Riviera is a better for you iced tea brand. So I started it because I just saw a gap in the market for a premium iced tea. So abroad, Europe, US, iced tea is on every menu. It's always an option, every cafe, restaurant. And whenever I'd go abroad, that's what I'd drink. I'm not a massive fan of having fizzy drinks with a meal. I also don't love the taste of most alcohol. Yeah. So I always struggled, but abroad I was kind of sorted with iced tea. Came back to the UK and it's just not found in restaurants. It's not in pubs. It's not in bars. At the time, it wasn't in many cafes either. We only have the two brands, Lipton and Arizona. And they're full of rubbish. There's been no innovation. You've got the same kind of 3 flavours across the board. So I kind of set out to make a more premium iced tea. So got flavours like raspberry and mint, rhubarb and ginger, and then the classic peach. And it literally went from market stalls. So I put all my savings in that I'd saved up from working since I was 16. I was meant to go travelling, but that got shelved because of COVID. And then I started just selling at my local market stall. And then a few local cafes owners were just walking by, said we'd love to stock it. Got the website up and running. Then went into nationwide cafes, and then got into retail, wholesalers. It kind of just grew from there. It was all very organic. I was still working in the hospitality wedding venue until last summer. It all grew very kind of organically. Yeah. It's growing kind of 315% year on year. Like it's in a really good place at the moment. So now just looking for some investments to take the brand further.
Got you. And in terms of turnover, where does that sit currently?
So 300,000 this year. Is the forecast, and then looking to kind of double the year after as well. Looking to export at the end of this year as well. So that will be kind of big for us because an issue at the moment is seasonality in the UK. Everyone loves an iced tea in the summer. Sales absolutely fly. But it's just trying to convince people to buy in winter. And that's like the big struggle that I've had with kind of e-com or air marketing, things like that. Just trying to convince people, look at a different angle for it. Which is the kind of the education on the non-alcoholic aspect as well. Like people just don't think of it. That's kind of been something that I've been learning as I go along.
No, super interesting. I guess it sounds like it's been on a really aggressive growth journey so far. But why would it be a good investment for, let's say, an investor out there?
So I think at the moment with the brand, it has been fully organic. So no team members. I wasn't even full-time until recently. It's just the demand for iced tea in the UK. It's actually one of the fastest growing soft drink categories. We just don't have the products in the UK. It's just Lipton. But I think personally, Lipton can't get into the avenue that I've gone down. They can't get into the restaurants, they can't get into the pubs. They're in home bargains for 80p. They're in cost saving places. They're in plastic bottles. You can't then have them in a premium restaurant.
Yes.
Whereas that's the kind of route I've gone down. And drinks at the moment, it's one of the toughest industries, but it actually has the highest amount of exits and some really attractive exits as well. So that is kind of the aim with the brand, to kind of dominate the side that Lipton aren't in, which is food service.
Yes.
And that is the way it's going at the moment. I mean, the brand is in such a good place where it's got everything set up. We've got the sales data, we've got the reviews, we've got the return customer rate. We have everything established. We just now need a bit of investment to take that brand further and take it into a kind of better known worldwide brand.
Yeah. I guess it's that time of year as well. April's around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully there's a few people with a couple of quid ready to drop.
That's what we need. Just a bit of support.
Yeah. No, amazing. Thanks for bringing us up to speed with where everything's at. You mentioned you went from, being really local, out of the sort of local shops and stuff, then you went national. Mm-hmm. Was that just down to you deciding it's time to go national, or was there anything that sort of, I guess, triggered the decision to go national?
So for me, I'm a little bit different to other business owners. I've always been, I just don't want to run before I can walk. That's always been my mentality. Like, I'm here for a long time, not like a good time.
Yeah.
And I've always seen it as like, I want this business to succeed. I want to exit. I want to make it into something that's super well known. And I don't think a stick or bust approach is the best thing in the economy at the minute. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I've done. And being bootstrapped, you have to be savvy. You have to get creative with things. So it was kind of, that's why I went down that route of, I'm going to start on a market stall. And a few drinks brands have criticised that and said, you should just go straight in. But if you go straight into supermarkets straight away, if you lose that listing, you're not getting it back. Whereas I know when I get a listing, it will sell now, because I've done the groundwork. I've got the local customers. So that was kind of the aim with it. And I then just literally set up the website, and there's nothing else like it in the UK. So when people type in British iced tea, it's me and Lipton. And so I just got approached by a cafe down, I think it was Essex. And I just said, like, why not? I'll just send it down. So that was it. Kind of majority of stockists have reached out to me. I haven't done much outreach, which is again why I think the brand could grow so much better if we had a bit of time and help. But everything I've done, I've turned down so many listings. I turned down a supermarket listing in year one, turned down wholesale listings that just haven't protected my margins. And to be honest, I'm in such a good place for it. Like, the brand is doing well, it's making money, it's got good margins. Whereas I've got a few friends that said yes to the listings, poured a load of money into it, and it hasn't worked.
Got you.
And I just think that just leads to a stressful time. If someone wants you, they want you.
Yeah.
So
almost don't want to be a busy fool.
Exactly.
To a degree. Okay.
Yeah.
And where are the margins at? Like, what does that?
So at the moment, they're sitting at about 37%, which is pretty high for drinks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Drinks usually around the 20 mark, which is why it's such a tough industry. Unfortunately, we get squeezed in every direction. Whereas a lot of people don't know things like this. Like, again, like, I wouldn't have known pre-industry that when you see like a promotion in a supermarket, so 2 for £3, it's the brand that pays for that, not the supermarket. So the supermarket maintains their margins, they're not losing any money. It's the small businesses that are losing the money on that. So we get squeezed from every direction. The ingredients are going up, everything's going up, but there is a ceiling of what we can charge. Like, people's salary haven't gone up, so it's us losing our margins, really. Same as the hospitality venues. Okay.
And you mentioned then you went from going national, then you started exporting.
Yeah.
Just for everyone watching, what do you mean when you say you've started exporting? What does that mean?
So we've started kind of testing in the US. So I had a couple of stockists out there, sold really well. And at the end of this year, we'll hopefully go into Europe. So there's a lot more kind of issues with that at the moment since Brexit. So you do have to have quite a good platform to do so. It costs a lot of money. So that's why it's kind of been put off till now, just because you have to get the volume up, and it's almost can sometimes be a bit of a loss leader, but it makes your margins in the UK so much better. And obviously it's that distribution, it's that revenue. So it's a tricky one, but I think it's the right thing for the brand. And I do think there's already such an appetite for iced tea out there, but there isn't anything like, there's not the flavours I've got, there's not the premium brands I've got. So I think there's a really good place for it.
In terms of then if you were gonna go into the US or Europe, I know you mentioned is expensive. Is that down to like tariffs and sort of duties and taxes?
So import, you kind of have to get a distributor, so work with a partner there.
Right.
So you have to have a registered address now. A lot of the times it's so much easier to actually produce over there. That brings the whole new issue. Because finding manufacturers is really tough. So I had an issue with a manufacturer in the UK where I lost a lot of money, and it's one of those things that you have to kind of be prepared to, it might not go smoothly straight away. But I know importing to the US is so tough at the moment, tariffs. So, I mean, hopefully things will start to get sorted out, but it feels like we're getting squeezed from all aspects at the moment. So.
And you mentioned manufacturing. You're currently manufacturing in the UK.
Yeah.
And when you said it went wrong, go on. What?
Yeah. So.
What led to that?
2023, I sold out of all products. So I got quite a big stockist on. It was a chain of cafes, and they just wiped me out of stock. So they took in a month what I'd sold in about 18 months. So it was a big. They just basically wiped me out, and so I was sold out in June, and that is my biggest selling time. So I was panicking, because I didn't want a summer of no sales. And my current manufacturer, I went with them because they are the best in the UK.
Yeah.
They're very kind of well known. They work with all of the big up and coming brands, so they're pretty trusted, but they were full. So I got recommended another guy who he's actually based around here, not to give me a bad name or anything, but I think he's based Manchester way, and he basically promised the world. And again, this is my naivety. Like, I was in my first year of business, I got promised too much. There was a few red flags that I ignored. So things like just getting things wrong. He seemed to be the only person I was communicating with, whereas in my current manufacturers, they've got 12 members of staff who you have different people for each thing. You have technical, you have production, you have supply chain, whereas this guy seemed to be doing everything. And in manufacturing, it's not a one-man job. You can't have one person working. And I just overlooked it all because I was so desperate. So I paid money to have all my products shipped to there, transferred over, promised wholesalers, it's arriving in a month. He was promising the time, and he just kept pushing things back and back. He wouldn't answer his calls. He was like, we'll produce on Monday. Monday would come around, he's not answering. And this was going on for a couple of months. He then informed me that he hadn't even read my recipe properly and they didn't have the capabilities.
Oof.
So I then again should have ran at that point, because if you don't know how to read a recipe properly, you're obviously not experienced. Like, if you don't know what kind of like things you need to do. And he basically eventually canned it all in the September. So I'd waited I had no sales for months. I got the products, and a week after that, I went and sold at a market near me. Bear in mind, probably I got something like 12,000 cans, and 6,000 had been shipped off all across the UK. So wholesalers down in London, cafes, everyone. And I sold to a customer who buys off me every time. And he came back and he was like, this doesn't taste right. It doesn't taste like it normally does. So I tried it, and it had basically, when you leave a wine out of the fridge, it goes a bit like vinegary, fermented, essentially. It had gone fizzy and vinegary. And my drinks have a 2-year use by date. Like, they don't go off. Like, I've produced hundreds of thousands of cans to this point with the same ingredients, everything same recipe. And he just basically took no, like he said it wasn't his fault. It was my storage, but I'd stored everything the same way. Like, it was just not me. I actually posted it on TikTok and found out that 3 other people had the exact same thing happen to them with him. So I don't know what had happened, because I had been recommended him, whether he'd taken on more than he could chew. Still not quite sure, but we all took him to court at different times. Everybody in court won except me. So I was the only one of those brands who lost to him.
Oh, wow.
And I was actually one of the last ones who went in court, and I said to the judge, he's got CCJs against him. He's lost 4 times for the exact same thing. Like, their drinks, the exact same thing happened to their drinks. And the judge just said there wasn't enough scientific evidence. So I just got super unlucky, to be honest. Like, I had more evidence than some of the other brands. It's all about who was
judging
the judge at the time. And it was very unfortunate, and it was not the best experience. He had a lawyer. I was small claims court, which you don't normally take a lawyer to. It was a big learning curve. And like, to be honest, it was one of the worst months of my life. Like, I've never felt so rough. Like, going home and trying all those drinks and realizing 12,000 cans have gone off. That's like £10,000, which at the time, like I was only a year in, that is all my profits from year one. And I didn't know how the business would survive. And January is not a great month for the business anyway because of seasonality. I didn't have a lot of money coming in to replace it. So yeah, it wasn't the best, but you learn, and you get over it. And I did get over it. So, and I don't know what's happened to him.
Did you ever waver? Did you ever think this might not be the thing I do? Or
that point. And it was just because I felt like the world was against me, and I know that's super like ridiculous, but I was like, God, I'm not getting any luck. Like, where is my luck coming from? But actually what I realized was 2 months later I got the co-op listing. And I can't tell you how happy I felt when that came through. And then I realized, like, that was the worst moment followed by the best moment. Like, that's just gonna happen again. And I feel like now, like, I'm in such a good place where if I have another crap moment like that, I just know that there will be a good one after it. So I feel like I'm not going to be as disheartened, because the problems are only going to get bigger. Like, if next time that happens to me with a manufacturer, because it does happen to a big brand the other week, it will be more money, but it's all relative. There'll be more money in the business, and hopefully another thing will follow. You can, if you have that first mistake, I feel like you can get over anything, to be honest. And I'm quite glad it happened when I was at that point. So I know how now, like, the system's in place, I know how to get over it. So
amazing.
A reason, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And like, you can only respect the resilience, I guess, going through it, and now being in where you are now, talking big numbers, which is quite exciting. When you were making the product, when you're first making it, like, this is showing my naivety a little bit, but like, are you just in the kitchen making this with ingredients, or are you going to a manufacturer initially to then make it so it could be made on scale?
So I went with the latter. So a lot of kind of friends of mine in the industry did start in kitchens. For me, I just saw the brand straight away, even though I wanted to start small strategically, but I knew where the brand was going, and I wanted it in retail, I wanted it in supermarkets, I wanted it in co-op. So it's very difficult to produce it yourself if you want that. There's a lot of hurdles, obviously rightly so, health and safety wise, things like that. Something called salsa, which is really hard to get and very expensive to get. Whereas if you use a trusted manufacturer, they already have that in place for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And in terms of as well the liquid development, I mean, I don't know what goes into a drink. There's a lot you don't realise that goes into it, in terms of the taste. And I mean, there's things called, like you say, mouth feel. Like, you would never think about that with a drink. And it's something added that makes it smoother and things like that. And you can tweak the sugar levels to be healthier and basically less rubbish added into it. And shelf life. And there's just so much. My head was absolutely like fried with it. So I went to a recipe developer straight away, and then found a manufacturer that they recommended. And I'm so glad I went down that route, because it saved me so much headache. And my product arrives to me ready to distribute, ready-made, palleted. Whereas I've got friends that are spending 3 days a week in a kitchen. And it's I don't know how they have the time, to be honest. Respect for them, because I don't have the time with 5 days a week. So I'm glad I never went down that.
Absolutely. I guess it gives you the confidence of the scalability, like you say. And if you're talking Europe, US, I mean, they have the capacity to do 1 million can runs.
I'm producing at the moment about 250,000 a year, but I can keep scaling, and that's kind of over a few production runs. Whereas they can do that 1 million can in one run. Like, it's crazy. Whereas I wouldn't have to think about building a new factory. I mean, the stress just doesn't sound nice.
Well, I was going to say, do you think that's going to be the play going into a Europe and a US? I find a manufacturer over there to be able to distribute locally.
I think it's something you kind of have to weigh up cost-wise. I know a lot of people do. There's a lot of fors and against, but you have distributors over there who have teams. So I would ship a full container over to them, and they have sales teams in place. They have account managers where they can distribute it for me. It's like having a ready-made team. That's kind of a good route to go down. They know the market better. Whereas if I found a manufacturer over there, I would have to get a sales team on the ground. There's fors and against. I think it just depends how big the brand gets, the direction to go in. And a few people, I think, build factories kind of in the UK, like they take it into their own hands. And that would sometimes be great. I mean, I sold out again in the summer. I had to wait 2 months for a restock because I'm on someone else's timeline. And that is always a bit of a nightmare. But it's something that whoever buys my company, hopefully in 5-10 years, they can look at, you know, we've got our own production facility. We can get rid of her costs and take double our margin by producing it ourselves, which is what the big brands do. So, I mean, they produce for 10p kind of thing. So it will kind of depend on the direction it goes in.
Okay, interesting. And then big picture, 5-10 years, what do you think it's, you know, what would a successful projection of Riviera iced tea look like?
So I would love it to be a recognised brand. That is the thing. Like, I would like it to be a household name, similar to Lipton, in all the supermarkets here. You don't have to stress about finding it. It's just there. But I would also really like to dominate the food service space. That's why I got into it. That's the reason for the brand. But it is a lot trickier because I'm actually creating the new category there. Whereas in retail, they know how well it sells. It's just a different brand, different flavour. But in food service, I'm trying to convince a pub owner who has never stocked it in their life and probably has never tried it in their life to do it. So I think that would be, if I can kind of master that space, that would just be a massive achievement. And I think it would like just really open doors for kind of everything. And then, just all over the Europe and US would be amazing, and worldwide, really. So.
I'll get a Riviera iced tea just to pop on there for free. Not that we're seen by millions just yet. But mega. And then you mentioned the website, and I guess leading into e-commerce, how has that sort of developed the business or shaped the business by going online?
Actually, massively. So TikTok's been huge, and I do not have a lot of followers at all. I've got about 3,500 per account. We've got 2 accounts. We've got a business account, which is purely kind of sales-based, product-based. And then I have a kind of behind-the-scenes account, so personal branding, and that has been amazing for the business. The best thing I ever did. I wish I'd started it from day one. A lot of people are now starting it from day one, which is just amazing. And that has brought so many opportunities. I mean, I've got stockists from there. I've got so many customers from there. Speaking opportunities, just all by posting the ups and downs. And people really want to see that. They want to see you're a person. Like I get comments all the time saying, we bought this in our local shop, but I had no idea it was like a young local founder. Like, I'm going to keep buying it now. Because they just presume if they see it on a supermarket shelf, it's made by someone in London or something like that. Like, they don't know. So it's been amazing for that marketing. And it's something I'll continue to do. And I mean, even the kind of paid ads with the brand, like it's a very expensive thing to do as a drinks brand, paid ads, but in terms of the awareness, and it's been amazing. It's led to so many stockists and things like that. So it's something that, again, like, I would love to focus more on in the future as well. But it tends to be with drinks that it comes slightly later just because of the cost.
Got you.
So that's kind of, there's been a lot of challenges with that. And just even shipping and things like that are a lot more difficult with kind of consumables. So it's definitely been a learning curve, a lot of testing and things like that.
And with with the challenges of the website, what would you say in particular?
It's just probably costs. So it is a luxury item. Like, it's not something that you necessarily need. It's not kind of a health thing. It's not gonna. So obviously, it's so tough at the minute. I mean, like, you have to find that audience that is looking for non-alcoholic alternatives or looking for something. Like, it's targeting it. You have to target it right. Otherwise, you can just waste so much money. And it's kind of not seeing that return until the second or third purchase as well. Like, that it's really tough. But I mean, luckily the brand has a really good returning customer rate, so I can kind of bank on that returning customer. But yeah. And
what would you put the being able to build customer loyalty? What would you be able to put that down to?
A lot of it is down to kind of email, messaging, letting them know kind of who I am. It's like
quite direct.
It's just, I think in the early days, you go for people's support. Like, that is what people will buy me over Lipton for 10p. Like, they're going for they want to support a young founder, and you have to just put yourself out there. You have to just show the face.
Yeah.
And I mean, even at the moment, raising investment, I sent an email out to all my customers because they've tried the brand. A lot of them I met because they wanted to support me at markets and things like that, and have stayed with me for years, like buying regularly. So I even just put it out to my customers. I think you can be more cheeky now. Like I felt like, oh, it's just a little bit kind of low rent, but actually people are so used to it now, like crowdfunding and things like that, and seeing it all on TikTok. And I think I'm a bit chaotic online sometimes, so probably share a bit too much. But yeah, it's just people want to relate.
Yeah,
so I'm always
absolutely.
doing it.
Out of interest, have you got one with you?
No.
Have you not? I was going to say.
I did think that. They're in the warehouse. So
we could give the old, and then.
I know. Yeah. I should have bought some to open that.
Okay, bro. And then you mentioned shipping.
Yeah.
So how did you start distributing it when you say you were local? And then how did you get to become national and then also international with stuff in across Europe?
Yeah, so a lot of it was just sent kind of post Royal Mail, but packaging it all myself. So it was literally done from spare room, then it went to the garage, and then it went to warehouse, kind of grew like that. But that is something we've just got a third-party logistics because I was spending way too much time packing orders into midnight.
Yeah.
Me and my mum and my dad, just packing orders every evening in the summer, and you can't grow the brand like that. Like there was times when I was almost dreading an order coming in because I was like, I'm going away tomorrow on a business trip, and I'm sat at 2 a.m. in a warehouse in the cold packing an order, and it was just, you just can't grow like that. I was having to turn off ads at certain points. I was having to put the website on pre-order at certain times, so I wasn't there to pack. And but it is something you have to do. Like, it's the margins, you have to protect your margins in the early days, and third-party logistics are expensive. So
Well, who do you use at the minute?
So it's a company local to me. We're actually working in partnership because they haven't launched their 3PL site yet. So I'm their first brand they're working with. But yeah, it's going well. We've only just started. But it was the trust thing is massive because when I go from packing it myself, I mean, I have customers email and be like, you've done the wrong order, or it's delayed, or even someone emailing me and saying like, I completely forgot to order, but my wife really wants it for her birthday tomorrow. And I'm thinking, great, typical. So I'm like, right, and I get it sorted. Whereas when it's in someone else's hands, you don't have that same. It's on their schedule. So yeah, it was a big thing to give over. But at the end of the day, if you want the brand to grow, that's how it has to be. So
got you. And has there been any issues with the shipping side of it? Like, what sort of challenges have you faced there?
Just damage rates super high in drinks, just because it is a can, like it's not a thing. So yeah, we kind of have to factor that into margins, which can be really tough. But again, like, that's something I've learned how to package it, things like that. So yeah, it's definitely getting there, and you get better margins on your website anyway, so it does kind of, that helps. But yeah, it's just been a learning curve. And at the end of the day, you are going to get some bad reviews for things like that. But as long as, I mean, the customer service thing was a big thing for me. Like, that was because it's your baby. You don't want anyone else to hate it. You want everyone to love it. And when you're getting emails at 2 a.m. because someone's orders arrived that day and they've only just thought to message you, but I'm sat there and I'm getting it when I first wake up, and you're like, oh, this guy's fuming at me. That can be really tough. Like, I think people as well have had people kind of not realize it's a small brand, which again is like, I think that's it's kind of a nice thing to think, that people think it's a big brand the way we've positioned it, but they will email being like, I tried to get through to your customer service team, they've not replied, it's so unprofessional. And I'm like, well, you haven't, because we don't even have a number online. But like, they just, people don't realize who it is, and people can be like harsh. There's been times when I've sent them the wrong thing by accident, my mistake completely, but I've gone above and beyond to kind of send them out the right thing, but then also include a load of extras, a massive hit to the business, to say sorry, and then they've still left 1-star reviews for getting sent the wrong thing, and then they've still never ever bought again. And it's like, that's really tough for me, because I'm one of those that, like, I always think, like, you don't know what they're doing in their day. Like, I never send a rude customer service email, because I just think you're speaking to some poor woman who's nothing to do with it. But some people just aren't like that. Yeah, which is fair.
And do you outsource the CS stuff, or is that come with the part of the 3PL service?
No, so I still do it and I still want to do it.
Right.
So the 3PL offered to.
Yeah.
But you just don't know people's tone of voice. Like I know what I'm saying. And I think people, majority of people, when they see me come back within 5 minutes, I'm always on my phone. And also they see my name at the bottom and they realise it's the founder. I think it's a bit more personal touch.
Yeah.
And obviously it'll have to be outsourced because I can't do it forever, but I'd look to hire, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's an important
Bring it
thing.
internal. Yeah.
It's customer service is, I mean, it's your brand. Like, it's so important. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I think we've seen customer service go so wrong or so badly. It's fair to...
Don't want to be a meme online, do you?
To keep hold of it. Yeah, for now. Interesting. And then I guess if you were going to go back, let's say from when you first set out,
mm-hmm.
what would you do differently in terms of setting up, if you would do anything differently at all?
Probably just share more online, just because I was too scared. I didn't want to show my face. I was too scared to really tell people in case it failed.
Yeah.
Which I actually think it's so difficult to run a business in this day and age. No one is going to blame you if it fails, and no one is going to even think twice if it fails. They're not going to think, oh, you didn't put the effort in, because they know that it's probably not it's out your hands if you've given it 100%. So I don't know why I was so scared to share it, and I just got more confident talking online, and now I just forget that there's even people watching and I'm just nattering away. So yeah, that's kind of something I would say to everyone to do. And also just, I was probably back in the day just not very confident with, if something hasn't gone right, standing up for myself, and also following up and things like that. Like, people are busy and you have to really put yourself out there, even if you feel like an idiot and are nervous to do it.
Go on, what did you have to stand up, or what do you feel you'd let yourself down with not standing up?
Probably this manufacturer. Like, I let so much slide because I've always been one of those that's like, oh, I'm sure he didn't mean it. Like, he did mean it. He's a cowboy. Like, I didn't realise there was like bad people out there, I guess, like in business. Like, you just think everyone I've met in the industry is so lovely. Yeah. So you don't realise that there are people out there who, I mean, he didn't care. Like, he just wants as much money in as he can until he gets his reputation so bad that he starts again. And that's the unfortunate thing with this country and like the way business is set up. People can just start again. Yeah. And that is something that really needs to change, because so many people get in trouble. I mean, there's so many stories of manufacturers who they just take people's money, liquidate, set up under a new name. It's happened so many times, and I was just naive to it. Yeah. And I should have stood up to him straight away. And I think he looked at me, and I'm not like, I will always admit that, he looked at me and saw a young girl who was too like nice to him, and he just took me for an absolute fool, to be honest. And that's why I say it's such a good learning curve, because like, I will not do that again. Like, I know now. And even stuff like, he made sure nothing was in writing. Everything was over the phone. I'd email him, he'd call me up, and I was like, oh, it's so personable. No, it's not. Like, it's strategic. So yeah, it's just things like that. And luckily my manufacturers I've got now have been great all along, that like, if I call them up and like, can you help me, they're like, yeah, and they will. But it's just, you've just got to be tough and also ruthless. Like, any agencies you work with, if you're not getting the results, like, you can't think about this lovely guy you've been speaking to for 6 months. You've got to just cut them. And it can be brutal. Like, I'm quite like one of these who's like, he's got kids, like, but you've just got to think about yourself, to be honest. Yeah. So, scary thought, but Fran's going to be an ice queen soon. I'll get there.
Okay. And how much of the business is online, if you were to do it by percentage? Like, we do 30% through online sales and 70%?
20% D2C. Yeah. But that is split. I would probably say 17, maybe a bit less. Maybe 15% of that is online, 5% is probably in person, because we do still do some festivals. Yes. And then 40% retail, 40% on trade, which is your cafes, bars, restaurants. So it's a really nice split at the moment. Yeah. I'd like to get the D2C up a bit more, just because it's actually the most profitable channel. So I'd like to increase that, especially the in-person, because that's very like profitable compared to everything else. But retail is just a great avenue. Every time you increase retail, it leads to everything else going up.
Yes.
So the first retail listing I got, I saw a massive growth in the on-trade because the cafe owners just happened to buy it and think, oh, this would be a nice brand to have in my cafe. D2C went up massively, people buying one can and then seeing you can get a discount online. So they came over to me. And yeah, it grows everything. So retail, just in terms of the visibility, is the route that I'm trying to go down as well.
That's interesting, because you just mentioned like a small incentive to get the customer, to buy online. How do you grow the online sort of sales? How would you increase that?
Mainly marketing. I'd love to do a lot more organic, just because I think the people I get off my TikTok are a lot kind of they're doing it to also support, so they're a lot nicer, they're a lot more willing to rebuy, whereas I find with paid ads it's all about incentive. So people don't know who you are, they're not really doing it to support, they're doing it because they want to try a new drink to benefit themselves, benefit their life, so they are looking for those discounts. And the best results I had with paid ads in terms of kind of cost per purchase, not in terms of overall margin, was when I offered a massive discount, but that's not sustainable. Like the margins are terrible, so it's difficult. I saw the returning customer rate massively went down with paid ads as opposed to organic marketing. So but again, organic marketing is such a time thing. It's all about, you have to be putting out multiple a day, and I just don't have time for that. So I'd love to do more of that though, but I think that will come with growing the rest of the business and being able to hire. I'll have the more time to do the founder-led stuff. So
And have you hit any festivals?
Not any mainstream festivals. Done a lot of like food and drink ones, which are great. They are amazing because people are there to buy a food and drink, so it's been really good. But I'd love to do some of the other festivals because there's not many soft drink options, and if they are, it's just the Coke and lemonade on the main bars. So I think that could be really cool. It's just, to be honest, it's just the money. Like, they are to have a stand at, say, Glastonbury. I know that's the top end of the thing, but it's like 50 grand, and people go year on year, so they're obviously making the money. But for me, if it rains, I'm snookered. So
pretty big risk.
Yeah, it's a huge risk for this stage of the business. But I've got friends in the industry who do festivals. That is like their main strategy, and they are killing it. It's amazing.
Mega.
They've got a really cool kind of situation.
I feel like there's a bit of a trend with like wellness festivals as well, which I could definitely see at Riviera. I see. Yeah.
Interestingly, another one that like I'd earmarked for last year, but I didn't end up doing, and glad because it rained the whole time. But there's festivals for children, but obviously their parents are there with them because they're 4 years old. But the parents can't drink because they're in charge of kids.
Parent responsibilities.
So that would be perfect because the bars, like, they won't buy soft drinks. And it's in August, and that's kind of one I've earmarked for next year. I think that could actually be really good.
And I do feel like people are going off the fizzy drinks as well. It's like, everyone's way more health conscious. It's like, you'd almost rather a water sometimes, but then I feel like this could be a nice alternative. And to be fair, when you go to the States and stuff, like, iced tea is massive.
It's huge.
I don't know how it's not.
It's on, it's in the US, it's on something like 78% of menus or 77% of menus. And in the UK, it's just nowhere near. But people like it. So I don't really get people are drinking it. Lipton is growing 7% year on year. The iced tea category is growing similar. Like, there's no reason for it. It's not like people in the UK hate it. They don't. That's me. The barrier is me trying to convince the bar and restaurant owners. That's the barrier, which I think I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what makes then Riviera iced tea different as a product in the iced tea, market or soft drinks market?
As well as it's a lot less sugar, a lot less calories. There's no artificial ingredients, anything like that. So it is healthier than the other brands. But also the positioning. So I'm trying to get people to realise iced tea is a non-alcoholic alternative, not just something you grab in your meal deal. So that's why I brought out the flavour, the raspberry and mint, which if you try it tastes exactly like a mojito, and that's like what people say. It tastes like a mojito. So it's kind of going down more that route. And then the rhubarb and ginger was after the gin. That's quite a typical gin flavour. So it's trying to think of it as a non-alcoholic because iced tea ticks every box. It's non-fizzy and non-alcoholic. Whereas, if you think of all these non-alcoholic alternatives that are coming out, so Trip, obviously huge, they do amazing, but they're fizzy. And so many people, when I was working on the bars, were like, we don't like fizzy drinks, and we're pregnant or we're not drinking, we don't want the alcohol taste. They're like, what can we have?
Yeah.
And I was going, we've got J2O, or we've got orange juice, like even lime and soda's fizzy. Like I didn't have anything for them, and that was kind of the reason I really saw it. And I just think as well, like the innovation. I mean, I went on holiday last month, and there was so many different iced tea flavours. Everywhere you went, they had something different. Like I tried like a pear one, I tried a cranberry. Like there was just really cool flavours. Whereas the UK, Lipton has peach, lemon, and then they have a mango and raspberry, which are in some shops, and that is it. And there's no innovation at all. So that was kind of something that I focused on. But the thing I found was the flavours I've got are all known flavours. Everyone knows what rhubarb tastes like. Everyone knows what raspberry and mint tastes like. They've just not been done in an iced tea. Yeah. They've not been put together. Or, it's because when I launched the brand, there was a lot of these crazy innovative products coming out around the COVID time. And these people are not only having to convince a new customer, they're having to convince somebody to try something they've never heard of in their life. They've never heard of their brand. Whereas people haven't heard of my brand, but they've heard of iced tea and they've heard of my flavours. Yeah. But I've still got that intrigue. They're like, oh, a raspberry mint iced tea. We've not heard of that. We've not tried that before. But they know they're going to like a raspberry mint drink, some mojitos and things. Yeah. So it's kind of doing something where the intrigue's there, but doing something where, the customers are there and it's not terrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the reason. People are picking it up off the shelf and then buying it every time.
And is there going to be a time when you punch a Lipton in the face and decide to bring out a peach flavour?
So I've got a peach.
Oh, right.
It's what I launched with. I actually launched a peach and lemon. So I'm going a little bit back to what I've said. But I always had the idea to do the raspberry mint straight away. So it was done after 6 months. Yes. But going forward, it costs a lot of money to develop a flavour. So I wanted to just do something like tested, proven, when no one had heard of the brand. So I launched that straight away. But as soon as I developed them, the next flavour was in development. So that came out really quickly. And I've actually just discontinued the lemon because it just wasn't selling. Yeah. Which everyone was like, you're discontinuing, like that's classic iced tea. Lemon iced tea is like the first original iced tea flavour going back to like the 1920s. But for me, like it's boring.
Listen to the data as well, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like people were too scared to discontinue a flavour. Why would I spend, a quarter of my production budget on something that's going to sit in the warehouse for a year? Yeah. Whereas the peach and the raspberry mint and the rhubarb just fly, and I'm reproducing every month. Yeah. So it's wasted cash. It's wasted capital. So yeah, just.
Love that.
Gone.
Yeah, it's quite bold, isn't it? It's quite a bold thing to do.
And I've got some diehard lemon fans, but they'll try another flavour. Yeah, sure.
I'm sure. And when you say it costs to develop a flavour, what kind of cost and what goes into actually the developing of a flavour?
So this is like my favourite thing. It's the best day. Yeah. My friends all love it as well because I get them involved. But there is something like 50 different peach flavours that my developers have, and you don't realise the amount that goes into it. So normally when I go down there, it's kind of 5 rounds. So we choose the flavour, and then we'll choose the sweetness. We choose, because I'll give them kind of a guideline for what I want to hit. So if I want to hit no added sugar, if I want to hit low calorie, always make it all natural. I hate artificial sweeteners. So it's kind of, we go with them parameters, but it's trying all the different flavours. So the raspberry mint, I had to choose a raspberry, but then there's like a mint with it, but you're kind of trying to ignore that. And then you choose the mint to complement, and then you're like adjusting the sweetness levels. And it's a whole thing, and it's so fun. And also like your tastes are really different to like some other people. So I try and get as many people involved as I can. This recent one, I've just actually redeveloped the peach to cut the sugar in half. Yeah. And I sent it out to some customers, and I was like, would you buy this? Like, do you like it? Does it taste the same? Because that's you don't want it to taste like weak. Yeah. And I said, would you pay for it? And they all said yes. So then I'm like, right, well, obviously people are liking it, because it's very different liking something and paying for it.
Yeah. It is good though, like to be able to upgrade it, but also make it I guess healthier. As an option.
That's the thing, because you can have the healthiest drink in the world. It can have no added sugar. It can have no calories. It can be like something that's going to make your life. It's going to make you do an Ironman. But if it tastes rubbish, no one is buying it again. Like, what are they going to do? Spend £3 and they're like holding their nose. Like, it's got to taste right. And people don't realise how difficult it is to make a healthy drink taste good. Yeah. Because sugar brings out the entire flavour. And it also makes it so much thicker. So when drinks with no added sugar can often taste like water. People obviously say like there's no flavour in it. And yeah, it's the sugar, that's why. So that's been a huge thing, and it did take me 2 years to get the peach to where I wanted it to be. But I've kind of now developed the customers, and I'm now saying to them, look, there's not much difference in taste here unless you're like side by side being like, oh, so, but it's got way less sugar. So yeah,
it's interesting.
It's a bit of a learning curve. And also remember, like, I developed this back in 2021. People weren't as bothered about sugar back then. Like it was all low calorie. Like I did not care how much sugar I consumed in a day. Like people didn't care. Whereas taste change. I mean, we didn't get onto the artificial sweetness thing until this last year. No one cared about a Diet Coke. They didn't realise what was in it. They didn't realise that it was literally like can affect cancer rates. Like they don't realise these things. So everything changes. Yeah. You just got to keep up with it.
It's interesting because I think that's quite a powerful thing to say as a brand. As we grow, we're actually going to develop to become healthier or produce as much as we can healthier, options, because you see like the McDonald's and, all of those big fast food chains and stuff, like it's only got worse, hasn't it? From like a health piece. So
exactly.
No, super interesting. What's been your most favourite part of the journey so far?
Definitely when I got into the co-ops, just because it felt like all the work I'd been doing, it felt like a big break finally. Yeah. Like it was such a turning point, and it came at my lowest point that like I was like, this is the best day of my life. That came 2 months after the worst day. I was just on cloud 9, and also the actual best thing about it was we did a 3-week trial. Well, no, it ended up being a 3-week trial. So I was told I'm going to be in 21 stores for the summer. We'll see how it goes. Maybe next year we'll put you in a few more. I was in there for 3 weeks, and I got a call from the buyer saying we want to put you in all 100. Wow. So I went from 21 stores to all 100, and that was just, I never felt so good in my life. Like the win.
What was the day like? Yeah, I feel like you probably remember what the weather was like.
Yeah, super sunny.
Yeah.
I was outside taking the call. Yeah. It was just amazing because I'd gone full at it. So I went into the centre of Lincoln, which is where like the biggest store is that I'm in. And I opened up, I've got one of these huge cool boxes that's like a big long one, and I opened it up full of cans, and I just started handing it to people coming out the store. Yeah. And they were going like, what, like, this is free? I was like, yeah, take it. And honestly, the sales data from that just exploded, and the buyer was like, it's been amazing this week, because I was like trying it, and then they were like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from down the road, like I'm 20 minutes away. And they were like, no way. And then my Shopify went massive. Yeah. It was the best thing, and people now like will buy every time to support. It's part of their meal deal. I get messages all the time on Instagram being like, I get this as my meal deal every day. Just happened to turn it over and it says produced in Newark, which is 20 minutes away. I cannot believe that. Like nothing is produced in my town. Like it's a random town. So yeah, that was just, I was on cloud 9. I was actually on FaceTime to one of my like a Teams call with one of my friends in the industry. We were just chatting because like so many things go wrong. It's nice to chat. And I got the call from the buyer, and she was like, I'm staying on the line. I was like, okay. So she kept on. She screenshot my reaction. So that was really cool. So I could use that for loads of like TikToks. Yeah, yeah. Because I just went, I've never smiled so big in my life.
Sort of founder's reaction.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I loved it.
That's amazing. And like, have you had any, I guess, have you had any like doubters, or have you had any, let's call it haters, that you feel actually you could probably shove it to? Yeah,
I would say probably there was a few friends who were a little bit slow to support. You realise who your true friends are, 100%. Like I never really believed that, because I was like, my friends are so good to me. Like, but actually there's a few who like, when they say people will share celebrity stuff but not their friends, like it's so true. Yeah. Like they just didn't want to admit it existed. Like they wouldn't bring it up in conversation, and I've definitely seen a shift since it started working, where people are like, oh, I know that girl, and you're like, you didn't know, you didn't a couple of years ago. And even just like, peripheral like friends of friends and like family members being like, oh, that's my cousin, and it's people are interesting, I think, with their like support, whereas I've just always been one of them that's like, I don't really get like jealous. I'm just like, that is so cool. So yeah, there are some people out there.
It's funny you say, because I've definitely been more switched on to that sort of stuff, like not through a place of jealousy or anything, but like when you've got friends going through similar stuff, it's like sometimes you're not quick to share, or you're not quick to even acknowledge it, but more because you're so consumed in what you're doing. Whereas now I'm Mr. Supporter UK. I'll try and support any friend that's doing it because I kind of know, like, the
and I would
feeling.
say, like, the thing for me where, not jealousy, but like where I've been a bit like, oh, this is tough, because obviously I'm 25 now. I'm not really paying myself. Like, it is really tough. But I've got friends who got grad jobs, so they've been in grad jobs now for 4 or 5 years, and they are just like now managers, and they're getting those like third promotions. They're now going on holiday regularly. They've bought their first house. They're settled. And I'm obviously nowhere near that. So that was probably like rough for me age-wise. Because my friends are all at like pivotal times, and I feel like I'm a bit behind. But it's, you got to look at the big picture. And also, like, I definitely agree with, like, if you've got that itch to scratch, you have to do it. Like, if I didn't do this, or if I gave this up now, I would be for the rest of my life thinking, what if? Or like probably angry at myself because I've not given it my all yet. Like, I've still got more to do.
Lots more in the tank.
More to give. I'm not too tired. So you've got to, like, I'd be so mad if I didn't keep giving it more. So.
And then let's say we get to exit point. You've been through multiple rounds of investment.
Yeah.
You're a very, very wealthy individual.
Yeah.
What are you spending some of the money on? What's the first thing you go and decide, right, I'm
definitely travel.
Yeah.
I love traveling. I did quite a bit of it in between school and uni. So I was quite lucky I managed to do it now, because I did not get to do it in a minute. But I would 100% travel the world, and I would go to some really rogue places as well.
Go on, where are you thinking?
So at the moment I've got earmarked Kyrgyzstan. I just want to go somewhere where everyone's like, why is she going there?
That is
like,
rogue.
That's so rogue.
Yeah.
So Oman recently on my own, travelled around, got a car, literally just drove it. But I've also, the big one for me is Australia. I was meant to go the summer of COVID.
Yeah.
That's what I'd saved. I'd worked full time all through uni, sacrificed the uni life to go to Australia for the whole summer, and obviously it didn't happen. And then my friends got full-time jobs. I started doing the business, still haven't been. So I'd love to do that. But also, like, I would love to, I couldn't not work. Like, I'd get so bored. So I would like to do consulting. That is like my thing, because at the moment, with me having the TikTok, I get a lot of calls from people who are just starting out. Because I'm by no means like an expert. Like, I'm 3 years in, I'm nowhere near. But there's people who are just starting out, and there's not enough advice for them. Like, there's people talking like how to go from 1 million to 10 million. No one is telling you, how do you get that first local listing? How do you set up a market? Like, no one says any of that stuff. How do you even register? So I get so many calls where people are like, it's a bit of a silly question. And I'm like, no, it's literally not. And I come off those calls with like their future founders, and I'm just buzzing. Like, it's like the best. Like, I'm just like on cloud 9. So that's what I would do. 100%. Like, set up a bit of a fund for first time founders trying to do things, because like for me, I've worked all full time to support it, but I was living at home, and a lot of people aren't in that situation because I've not had to spend much money. Like, I live at home still. A lot of people aren't in that situation where they can live at home. What do they do in that respect? Like, I don't, honestly, I'm baffled how people manage to start a business in that
Huge
situation.
pressure, isn't it?
It's crazy. So I'd love to do something that way.
Mega.
Hopefully I exit so I can do that.
No, we're manifesting it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll happen. And then I guess on that topic, have you had any mentors throughout the last 3 years?
Yeah, so I have actually, the one good thing about living in somewhere super rogue and not a major city is that because there's not many of you out there, you can form a really nice network, and you're not kind of lost in the system. So my local council gave me some mentoring, so I got a mentor paid for by them, which again, like, it's a lot less competitive grant wise. So I got a grant. I then happened to go to a networking event, and I just told some like old guys about what I was doing, and they were like, we'd love to support. So they're a kind of like a fake board.
Okay.
So every month I meet with them, and they absolutely roast me, basically. They look at the numbers. They're like, what have you been doing here? Why are you focusing on this? It's not bringing in this good of margins. Like, it's exactly what you need. Like, I come out of the meeting feeling like I've been battered and bruised. I'm like, God, this is... And then an hour later, I'm like, right, like, let's go. Like, I know what I'm doing. So yeah, that's been amazing. And just... to be honest, I've just built up a network. Like, I'll go and talk to anyone. So I talked to everyone, asked for their advice, and people were so willing to give it. Like, the busiest biggest people are the ones who will give you them most of their time. I've found, like, it's the people who've like been there, done that, and had people supporting them earlier on. So willing to give advice, and the nicest people as well. The wealthier they are, the better they've done, the nicer they tend to be. So
no, I'd agree. I feel like they've let the ego side of them pass through. There's nothing to prove for them.
Exactly, they've done it.
It's nice. Okay, Brill, well, thank you so much for coming on, giving us a bit of an insight in terms of what I think is going to be a really successful brand. And hopefully you've enjoyed it.
I loved it. It was great to chat.
Amazing.